saying, I am an independent director, I am not aware about any of the business of the company. It's none of my business. The whole-time director, the promoter is doing all those things rubbish. I am not concerned. I am an independent director. But now independent director cannot take this plea. If he is receiving a regular agenda, if he is regular attending the meeting, even receiving of agenda or minutes, it itself says he is aware about each and every business of the company. So the responsibility of independent director is 100% equal to the promoter directors. So whenever you are an independent director, and again being an independent director, you have to be there in certain committees, CSR committee, audit committee, and the responsibility and liabilities in the audit committee is very vast, because every financial statement is to be approved by audit committee, every related party transactions is to be approved by audit committee. So if you are there in the audit committee, you cannot say I am not aware about the business of the company, I am not aware about the balance sheet of the company. You are definitely aware. CSR committee, just 3 days back I was reading an article in the Economic Times about the CSR. So the same thing, siphoning of funds is happening through CFR, because people are donating to the some hanky-panky trust. So now if you are a director in the CSR committee, then definitely, because just to give a donation doesn't end your responsibility. Your responsibility ends to utilization of that fund of CSR. So you have donated the fund in the trust, and you are monitoring. Government is having a faith in the independent director or the CSR committee to monitor the fund, to utilization of the fund of CSR. So that responsibility is with you. So if there is any hanky-panky, definitely being an independent director, you will be responsible. Declaration of independence, ki I am independent, I am not related. One separate meeting in a year, this is also a new concept. It's a responsibility of independent directors. Other than listed company also, they have to hold a separate meeting where no promoter director will be there, because you can understand the situation of independent directors in big companies where suppose Mukesh Ambani or Ratan Tata is sitting. You can understand the situation of independent director, how they will object any of the business, even if he is not interested, even if he is thinking that something is going wrong. So separate meeting is there where they have to give a proper evaluation also. So full freedom of independent director is given. Even the tenure of independent director has been fixed for 5 years. So even if you want to remove the independent director, you cannot remove easily. The same case with the auditor. Earlier there was a threat with the auditor, we'll throw it out. So now they can work professionally, they can work independently. So they are the first regulators. The same way independent directors are also the first regulators to regulate the affairs of the company. So that responsibility is there. The code of conduct, definitely there. Women director, again a very important concept, because so many companies, so many directors are appointing their family member as a woman director, because it's an important regulation, because it is a requirement of the act. So you are appointing your wife as a woman director, because woman director need not to be a independent. So you are appointing somebody as a family member in the board. So just be cautious, just be firm. If everything is in order, then only appoint the woman director. It's a good opportunity for the professionals also to appoint an independent director as well as the woman director. So very important provision. Disclosure of interest. The responsibility of director is very important while giving their disclosures, because this whole act is talking about governance and governance. Modi ji is talking about good governance. Corporate world is also talking about corporate governance. So whenever there is this disclosure of interest, you have to disclose each and every direct and indirect interest. Your directorship, your proprietorship, your partnership, your relatives, even the interest of your relatives. If your relative in a private limited company, if relative is a director, then you are interested. In partnership firm, if your relative is a partner, then there is no difference. If my wife is a partner in another partnership firm, then how does it make a difference? It's the same. So disclosure of interest is very important. It's very exhaustive list. It is the responsibility of the director to each financial year, starting of the financial year, give their declaration to the board. And even after giving this disclosure, whenever they are interested in any of the resolution which is discussing in the board meeting, just disclose your interest. In this resolution, I am interested. If you are disclosing, it is a sufficient compliance that I have disclosed my interest. If it is a listed company, you cannot participate, so you can say I am not participating because I am interested. In private companies, you can say I am interested, but disclose your interest. Because this act is more related to disclosures and compliances. So disclosure, if you have disclosed whatever you are doing, you are definitely free. So many things are there in disclosures. This is also very important thing, board resolutions, because once you have appointed as a director, then there are certain matters which is required to be discussed in the board meeting only. Now, after the secretarial standard issued by the company secretaries of India, there is a formal agenda, formal meeting, notices to be received, sent 7 days in advance. If there is a shorter notice, you have to take a consent. Secretarial standard is also nothing but a principal set of standards. Standards how to have a board meeting, standards how to have a general meeting. They are not saying any law. It is just guiding you how to hold it, what should be the procedure. So there are certain matters which is required to be discussed in board meetings only. I am very emphasizing this point because in the corporate disputes, in the corporate war, I have seen so many times that person is saying there was no board meeting at all. This matter was not discussed in the board meeting. It was subsequently filed as a board resolution. That 100% responsibilities lies with the director who have done this. If another person, you have to prove that the board meeting is held, you have to prove that agenda was given, you have to prove minutes was circulated, you have to prove minutes was signed, you have to prove each and everything that this matter was discussed in the board meeting. Unless company law board, high court, every authority will reject this matter. So this particular matters which is related to some important things, approval of financial statements, borrowing money, because so many things are happening related to borrowings and investments only, because siphoning of funds related to borrowings and investments, that you have mortgaged the property and take the loan and another director is not aware. You have invested the funds in your another company but other directors are not aware. So it's a responsibility and duty of both the side of the directors. If there are two groups, they have to comply. Then issue of securities, please consult with the professional before issuing of the securities. Now there are very stringent provisions. Even the maximum penalty under the Companies Act is 25 crores or the amount involved in case of issue of duplicate shares. There was a scam long back when the company has issued the duplicate shares. Then the total capital in the market was more than the issued capital. That's why the secretarial audit report earlier reconciliation of share capital has come, because in the demat mode you can take from CDSL and NSDL this much of the shares, but in physical the company has issued double. So if your capital is 1 crore, in market there are 2 crore shares. So in case of duplicate shares, the responsibilities are very high. In issue of shares, earlier there was a mode when people are taking the share application money as an unsecured loan and refunding it. There was no proper compliance. But now if you have taken a share application money, you have to allot it within 60 days. It's a common problem which is being faced by the professionals. Then directors, one day they are saying, I have taken this much of amount. Now tell me what to do. So I'll suggest before taking consult, not after taking. So at least the proper channel will be suggested by the professionals how to take that money. Because it is happening on regular basis. Earlier deposit mode was there when you can take the unsecured loan from the shareholders. Now this provision is not there, because now out of 50 shareholders you have given just one shareholders to each and taken a 1 crore rupees each. So almost 50 crore is there, and you can simply say I have taken a loan from the shareholders, but these shareholders were not the actual shareholders. Now in the new act you can have a 200 shareholders in a private company, so you can take 200 crores, 400 crores, multiple of crores. That's why this provision was stopped. Even the provision from taking an unsecured loan from director's relative was stopped. But this was given to the ministry with the strong representation. Industries has also given a very strong representation that why director's relative? Shareholders we can understand कि we can give a one share and take the money, but we cannot create the new relatives. It has already been there. So you can take the unsecured loan from the relatives. It was exempted just some time back, and you can see there was a big news coverage by the media, by the government, in all the newspapers that government has allowed this because they want to give that ease of doing of business to all the directors. There was a propagate that earlier this provision was there. Now again we have reintroduced that taking a loan from the directors' relatives. Charges, again whenever you are taking a loan as a director, you have to create a charge. Earlier and now there is a one problem which I am also facing on regular basis, that directors have taken a car and charge is to be created now also. Earlier there was a provision that if it is registered under any other act like RTO registration is there, again I am feeling this is not a correct provision, because if one registration is there with the different legislation, you are not required to register again in the different legislation, because mortgage is already registered with the RTO authorities, charge has already been created with the RTO authorities. Even in your RC book it has been placed with so and so bank. So whenever there was a vacation of charge, you have to file an application with the RTO for vacation of charge. But again now you have to create this charge with the registrar of companies also. So whenever there is a loan, you have to create a charge. One thing which I want to say, FD, loan against FD is not a charge because it's a lien. It's a pledge of shares, pledge of OD, pledge of FD against OD. It is not required. But car, I specifically want to highlight, please make sure. ROC annual filing. This is a major concern for the corporate world, for the directors, because bundle of information is there. If you will see the old prospectus, then we'll say it's a 500 pages prospectus and nobody reads it. Earlier, I believe that most of the people were reading at least the director's report, because it's a comprehensive, properly compiled document in which all the relevant information was there. But now it is bundled with so much of information that director's report is also become like a prospectus. It's almost 30-35 points, so 10 pages points and 20 pages annexures. So it has also become a bundle of information, but it is there in the new act. You have to provide it. There are two important forms which you have to file it. Last date has been extended by the ministry, so now it is 30th of November. Earlier it was 31st of October. So annual return and balance sheet. Now the major part of the balance sheet is the board report. Again, so many people are facing a problem because the income tax has also extended the date till 30th of October. For the signing AGM, date was 30th of September. So balance sheet is signed in 30th of October, but date you have to put it somewhere in September, because as per Act, already you have held your AGM. So it is backdating. Government also knows that. I don't know why they are not giving this liberty also under the Act. If income tax date has extended, this date has extended, they should give automatic liberalization. Okay, out of 30th September, you can hold the AGM till 30th of October. But it is there. Board report, now there are some additional information which is required to give. The complete policy of remuneration of directors. If you are giving a director's remuneration, you have to, some of the provision are applicable to listed companies, some of the provision are applicable to class of companies where capital is there, but so many provisions are applicable to private companies also. I have covered everything which is now the additional information. Director's appointment, their criteria of qualification, comments on adverse remark of auditor's report, it was earlier also there, now secretarial audit report and cost audit report. If there is some adverse remark, you have to give. Particulars of loan guarantee and investments. I am reading every point because it is very important. Loan guarantee and investments, it is there in the balance sheet, but you have to give it here also. Contracts and arrangement related party transactions, it is there in the notes of account as per AS 18, but as per Companies Act, you have to give the related party transactions in director's report also. And it is not related that this provision is not applicable to private company, it is applicable to each company. If there is some material transaction, if it is on, then you have to consult it with your chartered accountant, with your auditor properly, with your company secretary, that this is my related party or not. So please take care. Particulars in default of repayment of deposits, risk management, policy of risk management, policy of CSR, responsibility of CSR, financial control and controls, evaluation of board and committees, how your directors are performing. Every time you are saying na ki performance evaluation is to be done on the basis of their performance. Employee bolta hai salary badhao, tune kaam kya kiya. Now you have to do the performance evaluation of directors also. Ratio of remuneration. First time it is happening because you have seen so many times that director is getting a remuneration of 10 crores, 12 crores, 5 crores. So what is the median ratio of the employees? So you can compare that in percentage terms what they are getting. So median ratio is 10,000 per employee, director is getting 1 crore, then that ratio is required to give. Vigil mechanism, change in nature of business. These are something which is really important. Director's report drafting is also art now. You have to take care of each and every point, because ultimately the director's report is given by whom? Board of Directors. So it is a responsibility of the Board of Directors. So please do not sign your director's report without reading, because end of the day you have some normal director may say that professional has sent 100 pages. Are you expected to read me each and every page? But at least read the important points of the director's report before signing it, because ultimately you are the promoters, you are the directors, and you know your business well rather than any professional. So if it is a state of affairs, if it is a financial performance, give it with proper line, proper justifications. Some board committees, it is also applicable on certain listed companies and certain companies, but the responsibility of every committee, the procedure of every committee is almost same as far as the board meeting. So audit committee, nomination and remuneration committee, CSR committee and stakeholder remuneration committee. So every process you have to follow it in proper letter and spirit. And there is some specific requirement, what is the role, responsibilities, their qualification, everything is given in the act about their committees. But if you are a member of the committee, then it is equally responsible as a director, because only a director can be a member of the committee. All other person can only be the invitees. So committee of the board means a part of the board, piece of the board. If your board is having a 10 directors, you can have a 3 directors committee. So equally responsible. This is very important point which we were discussing with every platform. Even just before starting this session, I have a long discussion with Bagadia sir about these 3 sections. I also believe this 185 is a business restricting section, because how can you restrict the business? It is saying you cannot give a loan in a company in which you are interested in a particular fashion. You cannot give a guarantee. You cannot give a security. On this platform, I humble request with the industry association, please raise your points. Please raise this particular points with the ministry that it is a business restricted section. Institute of Company Secretaries have represented, Chartered Accountant Institute have represented, but so many times the answer come with the ministry, how you are affecting. What is your stake? Ultimately, we have received no representation from the industry association. But as far as my knowledge, CII, FICCI, all have given a representation. Now there is a amendment, or the committee has been set up for this review of the Companies Act. So it's my suggestion, please from every industry forum, give your representation, particularly on section 185. You start some another mechanism. You start approval is required. You start approval from minister is required. But how can you say that you cannot do it? Earlier there was an approval from central government is required. Now no approval is required, but even you cannot do that. So this is very important part. I request from every industry organization to please raise your concern while doing the business, that this business is affecting. I'll just give you a simple example. Most of the infrastructure companies, as Nitin Gadkari ji also belongs to Nagpur. So you can say he is a I think surface this minister only, infrastructure. So if for the separate road projects, BOT projects, you have to constitute a different company. Your parent company is one. For one road project, you have to constitute a different company, SPV or joint venture company. So how will you give the guarantee, corporate guarantee? And without corporate guarantee, no bank will give you the loan. So how will you take that project? Ultimately, your net worth is your main principal company or main company, and you have incorporated a SPV or JV company only for the purpose of particular BOT project. For every BOT project, you have to form a different company as per the conditions of the BOT, as per the condition of the tender. So please raise this point. This is a very business restricting point for infrastructure sector, because loan, guarantee, advance, you have to give. Without giving to your subsidiary, because they have allowed it wholly owned subsidiary, in the BOT condition, in the BOT project condition, this provision is there कि over the period of years, you can reduce your holding till 25%. So if you have reduced your limit to 25%, automatically you will not become a subsidiary or wholly owned subsidiary. Then how will you give? So this is very important point. Loan and investment by the company 186, there are some procedural requirements, charging of interest. Earlier there was no charging of interest, no information in the balance sheet about the loans and investments, so it is required. And related party transactions, RPTs. Friends, being a Central Council member, please take this, all are my personal views. It's my disclosure. I am talking as a company secretary, I am talking as a Ashish Garg, because as far as institute is concerned, we have to follow a particular guidelines of the ministry, that Companies Act is there. But 188, friends, I am telling you, in India, if today I am in problem, who will give me the money? Definitely, who is the person who knows me? I'll ask from Bagadia sir only, sir मेरे को किराया दे दो, किराए के पैसे नहीं बचे. I cannot take from anybody else कि मेरे को पैसे दे दो, मेरे को पैसे चाहिए. So in India, every transaction is with related parties only. In India, if you will see how this multi-level marketing companies have grown, their business model is one. How many people you know? 10? Okay, make those 10 as a member. Then those 10 will make another 10 as a member. Then this tree will become. So in India, every transaction is with the related parties. We are not living in the US or UK era where your child or your children is not living with you. Once they are major, they are living in a separate place. So in India, every transaction is with the related parties. Now, definitely, relaxation is there. Ki you can do the related party transactions. Government has not restricted this related party transactions like 185, but certain procedure and formalities you have to follow. This procedural things is okay. This is just that you can be a related party transaction. Penal provisions. I think I'll not touch this penal provisions in detail, but believe me, the penalties under the new act is enormous. Enormous. Better to file the return. Better to do the compliance on time. The cost of non-compliance is too high, very high. A simple provision, if you are not complying, the minimum penalty is 1 lakh, 2 lakh, 5 lakh, even in case of deposits, 2 crores. If you have taken a deposit of 2 rupees, the minimum penalty is not 2 rupees, it is 2 crores. Because they have written which is higher. So, cost of compliance is definitely very less than the cost of non-compliance. If you are not filing the balance sheet in 30 days or 60 days, then you have to pay 13 times more. It is better to pay the professional. They will do your work much happier. So, why to pay late fees? Why to make the non-compliances? There are so many things in the Act. First time, this is also a very serious provision, problematic provision of the fraud. Because fraud is a crime. And now, your any offense or any do or any non-do, doing of something, non-doing of something, any act, omission and concealment. So what I am saying, disclosure, if you have concealed some information, it is also treated to be a fraud. And fraud is very well defined from years to years in the CPC, in the CRPC, in the Indian Penal Code. So huge penalties are there. Offence and penalties under the Act from 6 months to 10 years. And there are some offence which are non-billable also, non-compoundable also. Cognizable of offence and bail, prosecution and penalties, so many sections. Every section they have defined the penalty. और जिसकी कोई सेक्शन नहीं है उसके लिए एक आखिरी में सेक्शन है कि मिनिमम पेनल्टी इतनी तो लगाई दो, तो वो भी है. I'll just conclude that AAA compliance concept is always very popular now. Apparent compliance, absolute compliance and adequate compliance. There was a era कि सब चलता है, कोई नहीं देखता. Apparent compliance, those days are gone now. Everything is available online, everything is available digital, everything is available on your screen. Even yesterday I have seen one message where now the service tax department and income tax department are coordinating with each other, and if your turnover is more and your income tax return is showing less, then service tax department is giving the notices. So now those days are gone where you can say हर कुछ चलता है, क्या फर्क पड़ता है, कौन देखता है. Apparent compliance days are definitely gone. Now we have come in the era of apparent, not adequate compliance, where at least you can do the compliance in letter, not in spirit. But now the era will come where you have to do the compliance as a adequate compliance, where the compliance in letter and compliance in spirit. I'll conclude with these words only, that in Mahabharata, Lord Krishna says, whatever the leaders do, others follow. Whatever the leaders do, others follow. So set high standards and first you follow yourself. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashish ji. It was a very elaborated presentation and the forum is now open. It's an open house for the question and answer. एक क्वेरी आई थी आशीष जी, अगर जैसे आपने बताया कि डायरेक्टर अगर रिजाइन कर देता है, दैट वुड बी द कंप्लायंस ऑन हिज साइड बेसिकली, लेकिन कंपनी अगर फाइल नहीं भी करती है रेजिग्नेशन, उसका बोर्ड में नहीं लेती है और फाइल नहीं करती है, इवन दैट द डायरेक्टर्स कुड बी रिलीव्ड फ्रॉम हिज लायबिलिटी.
Definitely. And even if company has filed and directors has not filed, then directors may become a responsible.
The vice versa is, yeah.
The responsibility of director is 100% there.
Right.
They have to file it. Basically, it's not a percentage. You have to disclose that what is the percentage. Like if your 100 employees are there and median of those 100 employees remuneration is 1 lakh, and director is drawing 1 crore, then it is a 100% gap, 100 times gap. No norms at all. It's just a disclosure. You can give, if your company is having a 100 crore profit, definitely you can give 10 crore. But just you have to disclose it, what your employees are getting and in what terms director is getting.
A whole-time director in one company. So, in how many companies a person can be MD, managing director?
Managing director, he can be in 2 companies. It is defined in the earlier act also it was there. New act it is also there. There is a concept of whole-time KMP.
Okay.
So if person is a managing director in one company, he can be a managing director in one more company also, with the approval of the unanimous approval of the board. But if he is a whole-time director, he cannot be a whole-time director in another company.
So he can be MD and whole-time director in 2 different companies?
No, he can be a MD in both companies or whole-time director in one company.
Okay.
So you have to designate him as a managing director if he was a whole-time director.
Okay. And can you please suggest that whether a chartered accountant be means he can be a MD? In practice, if a chartered accountant is there.
No, because I think it is restricted under the because if you are in a practice,
Yes.
then you are a whole time practice. In Institute of Chartered